So when it comes to these ET agendas, right? So these solar flashes are happening. They're melting these inversions and reversals that we think are the truth away. So now we're being reincorporated into the larger galactic family as a citizen, as a galactic citizen. Okay, which means ET communication isn't something that is only for the fringe humans. It's a regular dialogue exchange that happens. It's a regular event. It's like calling up a friend and asking them out to dinner. That's how common and normal it is to have off-world communications. So the quarantine that the human consciousness has been under for so long is lifted, and there are ETs from many different galaxies, star systems, universes reaching out to humanity right now to co-create with them. Okay? And let that all sink in for a second. Imagine, a scene from Star Wars, like the bar scene on Tatooine, right? When there's all these different all these different species together in one place, and it's no big thing. It's normal. That's how our consciousness is meant to be. That's how this planet is going to thrive. That's where we're going towards, in the sense that when you have multiple beings together in one place, this is how we accelerate our consciousness, accelerate our growth, accelerate our activations and stuff like this. Why? Because we learn new things, new ways to look at stuff, new ways to relate to things, new ways to heal, new ways to learn, new ways to make love, new ways to have art. You see what I mean? The new. And that is a very, very high value in this infinite universe that many of us are resourcing from within. Okay, so for the longest time, talking you at ETs and UFOs meant you're a crazy person, or you're a fringe person, or you're this, you're that. But really, as we awaken into who we really are as multidimensional beings in these biosuits, we're getting reincorporated into the galactic citizenship. Some might consider that empire as defined by George Kavaslis, but some may also consider that the borders, so to speak, the extraterrestrial borders are all now open, and all beings are allowed to contact humanity. And that's what's happening. The quarantine's over, all the borders are open, and all these beings are now reaching out to humanity. So a lot of New Agers, they think the highest frequency of ETs, or benevolent frequency of ETs, because they're of higher frequency, that means they're benevolent, but that's not true. They all have agendas. All of them have agendas. They could be benevolent. They might definitely feel that way, but what we need to understand is that we are as benevolent as they are. Now I'm talking about we woken up to who we really are, as benevolent as they are. So do we have agendas? Do you have an agenda? You see what I mean? So you need to understand the reason why they're doing things, and then you can evaluate if they are a proper association for you. Okay? So the Galactic Federation, that is one group with an agenda. There are many other galactic levels of consciousness out there that have agendas too, right? So you decide. There's lots of them. I mean, far beyond just the ones I've mentioned on these chats. Now, I am, me personally, I feel like I'm more of like I'm with whoever I'm with, because I feel like being with them at that time when I'm going into the more galactic levels. I have this awareness that everybody has the direction, the intent of where they want to go, and it's up to me to figure out what my intent is, to see who aligns with that, and then that's who I'm aligned with. So sometimes that might be with the Galactic Federation. Other times it might be with the Guardian Alliance. Other times it might be more with the Syrian Alliance, or Ishtar Command, or you know what I mean? It really all depends. And I don't know why on a soul signature level I have that, but I do. So I don't really question it, in the sense that, that's who I am as an infinite being, or that's part of who I am as an infinite being that my consciousness can touch. Because my personal agenda is my authenticity, being an expression of my truth, and that's what's number one important for me. So who is to say who's good or bad or right or wrong, or more benevolent than other people? It's all about relationship, right? It's all about relationship. So these beings that are approaching and want a relationship with humanity, their way in for us to communicate is dream time and the space in between dream time. So all of us, especially those who engage dream time and have an awareness and can, bring it into the conscious awareness in their waking world, are getting approached by beings, many different kinds of beings. And I'm talking about beings that don't need UFO technology. I'm talking about highly advanced interdimensional consciousness. I'm talking about there's degrees of this level of consciousness in our inner earth. We have the ant people, for example. I was talking a lot about the ant people a couple of years ago. That is huge, and it's just getting more massive. When I say massive, what I'm talking about is that, as our frequency lifts as a collective and the frequency of Mother Earth shifts, their free energy technology, which is built out of natural landscapes, is going to come online. And as those technologies come online, it not only gives us all free energy, but it also is tuning our consciousness to a particular frequency. And the ant people particularly honor all life as sacred, honor all life as being sacred and being worthwhile and respected. And they consider themselves, they're like custodians to life, And there's a lot of lore about ant people. If you talk to the Hopi and the Dene, the Dene is kind of like the spirit, maybe spiritual, more spiritual holding of the Hopi spiritual life. They call themselves Dene. I'm not really clear on what that lineage looks like, but I have spoken with different medicine men and women that make that distinction. Anyway, they have many stories about the ant people and how the ant people, when the time of the great catastrophe, which is what we equate as the fall of Atlantis, the great flood, all that stuff, the ant people saved the Hopi, saved the Dene, and brought them into their underground tunnels and stuff, and gave them food and taught them how to live and stuff like that. So a lot of their spiritual inclinations come from working with the ant people. Now, somewhere along the line, during the inversions and the reversals of the collective fields and the infiltration of human consciousness, eventually there was a betrayal that happened. And what I think the metaphor is saying is that someone misunderstood what an ant person did and thought that their person was taken, when really they were trying to help them, save them in a way, and they did something to harm the ant person, and that created a major breach within their reality and within the relationship, and then the ant people closed themselves off from them because of that incident. There's many different versions of the story, but this is my summation of all the different versions put together, that I've heard. But there are many different categories of consciousness. We have interdimensional, we have extraterrestrial, we have corporeal, we have non-corporeal, right? We have all these layers, and all of them are now allowed to make contact with us. All of them are. Now, granted, they're not going to want to make contact in a way where, they're going to trigger the human fear and our aggression, where we're going to want to attack, right? They are aware that the sickness is still pretty strong within humanity. So the safest way for them to communicate with us, to connect with us, is with dream time, in that space in between dream time. Now, some of them want to teach us how to reclaim our master creatorship, our master creatorship, as in we are master creators within this biosuit here to create a reality for life to flourish, right? We are the ones who navigate where our sun, where our heliosphere travels within the galaxy. And once we are awoke to our galactic levels, we are the ones who navigate and decide where we go on a galactic level. You see what I mean? So, do we continue to keep merging with Andromeda? We decide that as a collective. It's not, oh, Andromeda is crashing into our galaxy and eventually this place will be destroyed. That's what science tells us, but that's what regular science tells us. But when you go into the multidimensional realm, that is a conscious choice to have those two galaxies merge, right?